You're witnessing episode number 7 of the Indians Corner podcast. I'm back at it again. Episode 7. It's your boy Ty Finney, aka The Legend. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Before I get started, I just want to say, I'm thankful. I'm thankful to be alive. I'm thankful. I'm thankful to be healthy. Because if you watch episode 6, I started off, talking about my experience with COVID. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be alive. I'm glad to be healthy because COVID has taken so many lives. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just wanted to get on for a little bit and just chat some things up. Last night we had Triple G versus Canelo. That fight went how I expected. Canelo made easy work of Triple G. Triple G definitely looked old in there. For the first fight, I had Triple G winning, and for the second fight, I had Canelo winning. I had Canelo winning the second fight conventionally, but some people can argue that Triple G won that one. So it was only right that they went ahead and went for a third fight. But Canelo made easy work of Triple G. Triple G, he definitely looked old in there. The saying, Father Time is undefeated. So, yeah, it was definitely easy work for Canelo. So, we got the big news. We got the big news with Errol Spence and Terrance Crawford. November 19th, that fight is supposed to happen. It's not completely official. It's still some finishing touches that's got to be worked on before that fight, is officially signed. But that's like some of the best news for boxing fans this year. You know what I'm saying? This is probably like the best news since Canelo and Triple G, the first fight since Wilder and Tyson Fury, and definitely since Floyd and Pac. But you can definitely say Floyd and Pacquiao definitely happened, about 5 years too late. Yeah, but I was working that day. I got a text from a couple of different people. They was like, "Hey, yo, Spence and Crawford just got announced," and I was like, "What?" So I had to go and I had to look that news up, and it's definitely going to happen November 19th. Like I said, it's just some finishing touches they got to do. So everybody's probably going to pull up to that fight. You know what I'm saying? NGN Grand in Las Vegas. As far as that fight, I'm gonna definitely go for Terrance Crawford. Terrance Crawford has had all knockouts, all stoppages since 2016, and Spence definitely has power too. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he didn't stop. He didn't stop Mikey Garcia. He didn't stop Danny Garcia. You know what I'm saying? But he definitely looked impressive against Danny Garcia. Especially for his first fight back. Having a bad car accident. So yeah, this fight here is like the biggest fight in boxing, I would say, for this year. It's definitely like an early Christmas present for sure. But yeah, in that fight, I got Terrance Crawford. I think Crawford just got he's got more tools in his toolbox. If he makes it, if he tried to go toe to toe with Spence, I can see that he's definitely gonna get hurt. But they both fought Sean Porter. They both fought Kell Brook, and Crawford was the first boxer to stop Sean Porter. And when he fought Kell Brook, he stopped him in like 4 rounds, I believe. So yeah, so Terrance Crawford definitely shows that he's beat the same fighters that Spence beat. He did it in a better fashion. He did it faster. But as far as this fight, man. Like I said, I got Terrance Crawford. I just believe he's got more tools in the toolbox. They both can adjust well in their fights. But for this fight, I definitely got Terrance Crawford. And when I did episode 6, I was giving my thoughts on Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz. And I haven't done a podcast since then, so I'm gonna go ahead and give my thoughts on that. Yeah, for as far as the Andy Ruiz and Luis Ortiz fight, I predicted for Luis Ortiz to win, but I was wrong. I was wrong with my prediction. But aside from the knockdowns, I think Luis Ortiz definitely did a good job. But as again, the saying is Father Time is undefeated. Everybody always say Luis Ortiz is really like 50 some years old. So if he's 50 some years old, he did one hell of a job against Andy Ruiz. And you can argue that if Andy Ruiz only got 2 knockdowns, that Luis Ortiz definitely could have got the decision in that fight. But yeah, it's sad to see though, you know what I mean? Because Luis Ortiz, his chin definitely isn't there no more. You know what I'm saying? Like his chin definitely isn't there. He's touched the canvas 2 times. Uh, when he fought Deontay Wilder, right? I think it was maybe three or 2 times when he fought Deontay Wilder in the first fight, and then he was knocked out in the rematch. So he was knocked out a few times against Charles Martin, and now he was knocked out 3 times against Andy Ruiz. So yeah, Luis Ortiz, his chin definitely isn't there. And I don't want to see him fight any more top contenders. I did read a link where he was saying that he would like to take on Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury or something like that. So that's definitely something I don't want to see him do. But Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, that's looking to happen in December. But Luis Ortiz, you add Father Time with the fact that he took those big right hands from Wilder in his fights, that those are some things that could have definitely made his chin real shaky. You know what I'm saying? But far as Luis Ortiz's future, I would definitely like to see him fight, Otto Wallen or maybe a Michael Coffey, someone of that caliber. And so Bill, yeah, big ups to Andy Ruiz. He's definitely got powder. He doesn't have the best shape, but he's definitely got powder. He's definitely got power. And let me see what else I can get into. Yeah, on the undercard of that fight, we had Isaac Cruz. He had a real nice knockout. He had a real nice knockout in the second round, and he called out Tank, for a rematch. So if Tank and Ryan Garcia can't make anything happen for December, I think far as on the PB side for in-house fighters, I think that Isaac Cruz is definitely a good name for Tank. If he can't fight anybody else, you know what I'm saying. If he's not going to fight, like Ryan Garcia or the other big names, but I also definitely would like to see him fight Tevin Farmer. They were supposed to make a fight happen, a while back, but that fight never came to fruition. So if that fight can get built back up, I would definitely go for Tank Davis, because Tank Davis just got crazy power. You know what I'm saying? And Tevin Farmer, I can't see Tevin Farmer hurting Tank. It would probably be like a Virgil Ortiz versus McKinson type of fight. I can see Farmer sticking and moving, catching him, but his power, he just doesn't have enough, to keep Tank off of him. And I believe eventually that Tank would break him down. I would say like between the mid rounds, mid to like between from 5 to round 10, I could see Tank definitely, breaking him down and getting a stoppage. But yeah, and if Tank can't fight Ryan Garcia, the fight with Tevin Farmer can't come to fruition, I would definitely like to see him fight Michael Rivera, because Michael Rivera is calling him out. But I think this is too early for Michael Rivera, but it's an option for Tank. You know what I'm saying? So let me see what else I can get into. Yeah, October 15th. October 15th, we got Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius, and on the undercard we got Anthony Durrell versus Caleb Plant. Also, we got George Kambosos versus Devin Haney, and Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall, and also Alicia Baumgartner versus Makala Mayer. All of those fights are on October 15th, because with the Queen passing in the UK, the Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields fight got postponed. But that fight, October 15th is definitely going to be, a huge night for boxing fans. We're definitely in for a treat. Um, with Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields, that fight, since that fight's happening in the UK, it would probably start early afternoon. And as far as Robert Helenius versus Deontay Wilder, that fight would probably start, around 8 or 9 o'clock. And the Devin Haney and George Kambosos fight would probably start around the same time as well. Because I know the first fight, even though it's in Australia, the first fight started around like 9 or 10 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so we're definitely in for a treat, on October 15th. Definitely a crazy night for boxing fans. And big ups to Devin Haney for flying back over to Australia to to defend his title, because he's the champion now, so he can call the shots. He can bring Kambosos over to the U.S. You know what I'm saying? But big ups big ups to Devin Haney, flying back over to Australia and defending his title. Yeah, he's definitely got guts for sure. But yeah, as far as my predictions for all of those fights, of course, for Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius, I'm gonna go for Deontay Wilder by KO. But he is coming off two back-to-back losses, and Robert Helenius is coming off two back-to-back stoppages against Adam Kalnacki. So that's definitely going to be a lit night at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Um, but you got to ask yourself, how is Wilder? How is Wilder coming off those two losses against Tyson Fury? You know what I'm saying? And I've read that he was doing some intense sparring. 400 rounds, 400 plus rounds of sparring. That's a little too much. So on fight night he could be physically drained from that. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a good fight. Two tall fighters. Both guys got long reach, but I'm gonna predict for a knockout by Deontay Wilder, because Wilder's knocked out every single person that he's fought, even the Tyson Fury. Over the 3 times he fought, he's knocked Tyson Fury down what total of 4 times. So everybody that fought Wilder has tasted the canvas. You know what I'm saying? So Deontay Wilder's power is definitely one of the things that's tough to avoid. Even Fury, with the best footwork, his movement, his skill, even he couldn't avoid, the right hand from Wilder. So I'm definitely going for Deontay Wilder in this fight. And as far as Anthony Durrell, Caleb Plant, I already gave my thoughts on that. Durrell is a fighter that inspires me, because he has a cancer story, and he survived a motorcycle accident, and he's a 2-time champion. So, and Caleb Plant is a former champion, and they both fought the same fighter, and Caleb Truax and Anthony Durrell. Anthony Durrell stopped Truax in the first round, and Plant went to the decision. But in this fight, Caleb Plant doesn't have power, but he's very skillful, and I can just see him catching Durrell all night. You know what I'm saying? Just keep landing shots. I wouldn't say they would go toe to toe, but it's a possibility that they could go toe to toe. Durrell's the dog. That's what Durrell do. He go toe to toe. He'll make it a dog fight for sure. But I can't really see Caleb Plant, going toe to toe with him. I can see Caleb Plant, moving side to side, using his footwork. You know what I'm saying? And just popping off on Durrell all night. He doesn't have power, but I believe that he can catch Durrell enough to get him cut. That's the thing about Durrell. Durrell cuts easily in his fights. It's always been a lot of controversies with Durrell in his fights when he gets cut. When he fought Dennis the Mama's Boy Douglin, that fight got stopped. It was stopped due to Anthony Durrell being cut. Then it went to the scorecards, and Anthony Durrell won. So he definitely cuts easily, and that's one of the things I'm concerned about, is Durrell getting cut in that fight. But yeah, I'm leaning towards Caleb Plant for a decision, but I believe Durrell can pull off the upset. If he makes it a dog fight, I believe he can catch if he catches Caleb Plant with a serious shot, that he can definitely get a knockout, because his last fight, I believe he got a crazy uppercut, man. That was like uppercut of the year. If you haven't seen Durrell's last fight, check out that uppercut, man. That was a crazy uppercut. That was like the uppercut from hell. You know what I'm saying? So and as far as Devin Haney and George Kambosos, I'm gonna go for Devin Haney. Devin Haney, he's younger. He's definitely skilled. I think he'll just make it an easy fight, just like he did the first time. Um, Unless Kambosos has made some serious changes in his training. But I got Devin Haney, just sticking and catching Kambosos all night. You know what I'm saying? So I got Devin Haney winning that fight. As far as Carissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, for what I understand, they fought in the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? They fought in the amateurs, and Savannah Marshall won. And Savannah Marshall has a lot of power, but Shields is just too skilled. I seen Carissa Shields fight live in Atlantic City, New Jersey in 2020. She's definitely a skilled fighter. She just doesn't have power. She's only got like two KOs in all of her fights. So, but Carissa Shields, I definitely can see her, just making this an easy fight, for Savannah Marshall. And a lot of people were saying Christina Hammer was going to be Shields' toughest fight, but Shields made easy work of her. You know what I'm saying? And as far as Alicia Baumgartner and Makala Mayer, I can't really call that one because I don't recall ever seeing Baumgartner fight, but I've seen Mayer fight a few times on ESPN. But like I said, that's gonna be one hell of a night for boxing fans. I'm real excited about that card. Excited about October 15th for all the fights we're gonna get on that day. And another thing, for the far as Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, that's scheduled to be in December if everything goes forward, everything goes well with that fight. It's supposed to be on December, I believe it was December 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. And Tyson Fury is all over the place, man. He went from retirement to calling out Derek Chisora to calling out Usyk, and now he wants to fight AJ. And if I was Anthony Joshua, I wouldn't take this fight. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't take this fight if I was Anthony Joshua. He's already coming off two back-to-back losses to Usyk. You know what I'm saying? Usyk was a smaller fighter. He moved up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, and beat Joshua in the first fight, took the belts from him, and beat him in the rematch. So I just can't see Anthony Joshua beating Tyson Fury at this point. I understand business wise, it's the biggest bag for him. It's financially it's the biggest bag. It's the most money for him. But I just can't see what Anthony Joshua can do to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury he's faster on his feet. He's quicker. He's taller. You know what I'm saying? He's very skilled. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Joshua doesn't have the best gas tank. You know what I'm saying? And when heavyweight fighters get into a lot of clinching, all that clinching takes a lot out of you. Takes a lot out of you. You know what I'm saying? And if Tyson Fury, let's just say he comes in this fight like 280, 275 pounds, you know what I mean? And when they start clinching, they start holding, all that's going to drain Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the gas tank. You know what I'm saying? So I can definitely see Tyson Fury getting a knockout, a knockout or a stoppage in this fight. And that would be bad for Anthony Joshua, you know what I mean, to have three losses back to back. You know what I'm saying? But he can still definitely fight, some decent names, some good names. If he does lose to Fury, I definitely don't want to see him fight. I definitely don't want to see him fight Deontay Wilder. And as far as Deontay Wilder, if he does get past Robert Helenius, I think him and Andy Ruiz would be an easy fight to make since they both signed with PBC. That's definitely an easy fight to make. And if that doesn't work out, Usyk. I'm now reading that Usyk wants to fight Deontay Wilder. So I think the Usyk fight is definitely a bigger bag, and I think that fight is definitely going to test Wilder's skills. You know what I'm saying? But if I was Wilder, I would just probably stay on the PBC side and fight Andy Ruiz. You know what I'm saying? But depending on how Wilder feels about it, if Wilder wants the biggest bag, I mean, if he's daring to be great, he already lost it. He lost his championship belt to Tyson Fury, and then he wasn't successful in the rematch. So, going into the Usyk fight, this is his opportunity to be undisputed. You know what I'm saying? So if he takes the Usyk fight, then this gives him an opportunity to become champion again, and he'll be undisputed champion. You know what I'm saying? So I think Usyk would definitely be the move that Wilder would probably want to run with. But if that fight can't come to terms, then definitely Andy Ruiz. Both guys got power, but I think Wilder would definitely knock out. I think he would knock out Ruiz. But we seen Ruiz hurt by Anthony Joshua, but he got up and he came back. He came back stronger, and he got the knockouts against Anthony Joshua. So yeah, so if Deontay Wilder gets past Robert Helenius, that's definitely, those are two options that I'd definitely like to see him fight next. Is either Andy Ruiz or Usyk. And another thing, far as these heavyweight fighters, I had some notes that I had jotted down. One thing that I realized about the heavyweight division, we got a lot of fighters that transition from playing football and going into boxing. You could take Seth Mitchell, who's from my state of Maryland. Seth Mitchell played football, then he started boxing very late, and he was deemed to be like the next best heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? He was deemed to be the next best heavyweight, and he was good. He had a good run. He was knocking out a lot of his opponents, and he got his first loss against Jonathan Banks. You know what I mean? He was knocked out early. I believe it was the second round, but he got his revenge against Banks in the rematch. And then he ended up losing to Chris Arreola, and he got knocked out in the first round. So basically, what I'm just trying to get at is that these heavyweight fighters who go from football and transition to boxing, they just don't have the best chins. You know what I'm saying? And I don't ever recall hearing Seth Mitchell announcing his retirement. But after the Chris Arreola fight, he disappeared. You know what I'm saying? So, and another fighter is Jared Washington. Even though Jared Washington fought Deontay Wilder, you can argue that he was winning on the cards prior to the knockouts. He's another fighter who, to me, was real green in the sport of boxing. He was just a more athletic version. He was just a more athletic version of Seth Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? He was in better shape, but Jared Washington, to me, at this point, like he's just a horrible fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's got the height and he's got the reach, but he didn't use it when he fought Adam Kalnacki. He got knocked out in that fight, and also he was stopped by Big Baby Miller. But you can argue, we don't know if Big Baby Miller was on PEDs in that fight. You know what I'm saying? But he got knocked out by Ali. He got knocked out by Charles Martin, and that's the point where I'm getting with, from transitioning to football into boxing, especially to be a heavyweight, your chin is not going to be solid. You know what I mean? You basically got a glass jaw coming into boxing, especially in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? And also Dominic Brazil, Dominic Brazil was knocked out against Anthony Joshua, and he was knocked out against Wilder in the first round. You know what I'm saying? And he lost to Otto Wallen on the scorecards. But Dominic Brazil had two shots at the title. He fought Wilder for the title, and he fought Anthony Joshua for the title, and he came up short both times. And of course, he was knocked out by both of those guys. But you can argue that Anthony Joshua and Wilder, like one of the top 5 heavyweights in the heavyweight division. So, big ups to Dominic Brazil for getting up from the Deontay Wilder shot, though. You know what I'm saying, y'all? But yeah, Wilder definitely has, he definitely has the most brutal knockouts in the heavyweight division, in the present time heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's just some notes that I had jotted down. All these professional boxers who transition from football to boxing just don't have the greatest chance. So let me see what else I can get into. Yeah, we got the Inferno Tara Fundora. He returns on October 8th. Against Carlos. I believe it's Carlos Ocampo. If you're not familiar with him, he's the guy that fought Errol Spence in his hometown in Texas, and he was knocked out in the first round. But I was looking up his record on BoxRec. He's got a lot of wins since then. He's been on a crazy win streak, and he's fighting Fundora on October 8th. But Fundora is on another level. You know what I mean? He's got a weird body. You know what I'm saying? He's a real skinny, tall fighter, but his power is definitely there. You know what I mean? He fought Lubin, he tore Lubin up so bad, man. He's like Lubin's face was deformed. You know what I'm saying? So that's a fight that I'm interested in seeing. And this Friday we got Shakur Stevenson against I believe the guy's name is Robeson, something like that. And that fight is on Friday. That fight is on Friday, the 23rd. So that's a fight that I'm looking forward to seeing. Shakur is definitely a skilled fighter. He's got he's definitely swift with it. You know what I'm saying? He's real swift with it, but he doesn't got a lot of power. I think this is a good test for him because Robson he fought Oscar Valdez, and he lost by decision, but that was a good fight. And but Shakur is one hell of a fighter, man. He bruised up Valdez. Valdez had a lot of power, but he couldn't do nothing with Shakur. So Shakur made easy work of Valdez, and he also made easy work of Heron. So yeah, so those are some upcoming fights that we got. So yeah, another thing I want to talk about, speaking of heavyweights, is James the Beast Wilson. I haven't really seen him fight, but I've seen some videos of him training and stuff, and a lot of people would say he was the next guy. He had a style like Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? And like from looking up his record on BoxRec, he had a 3-year inactivity period. So can anybody tell me why he was so inactive? And he fought I believe the guy was named Andrew Tabiti, and he lost to him. But he hadn't fought in 3 years. And from what I was reading, I seen the post that he posted on Instagram. He said something like that he got the call, and he took the fight on 1 week notice, and so he lost that fight. But can anybody tell me why James the Beast Wilson was so inactive? Yeah, and speaking of inactivity, some fighters who are inactive and they get a call, and to take a fight, they take the fight because they need the payday, but they end up looking so bad in the ring. You know what I'm saying? You could take Joey DeVica. I believe when he lost to the guy, I think the guy's name was Stephen Shaw. He lost to him. Stephen Shaw beat him easily, but I was reading that Joey DeVica posted that he took that fight on 1 week notice. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have any training or anything. But Joey DeVica just had a fight and he won. So big ups to Joey DeVica, and we can take the Omar Figueroa versus Sergey Lipinets. Sergey Lipinets got the call on 1 week notice, but he won that fight. But he probably definitely had a steady training camp, a busy training camp prior to get the call. But you gotta look at it from a boxer's perspective. Like if let's say you don't have no fights lined up or nothing, you waking up every day, you training, you doing your road work, you jogging, you in the gym, you sparring. You know what I mean? You basically doing your 9 to 5 in terms of boxing. You know what I mean? And day after day, week after week, but you ain't got no opponent lined up, and it gets tiring, and you eventually gonna fall back from training this hard. You know what I mean? And eventually you're gonna stop training, and then out of the blue, you can get a phone call. Hey, we got a fight for you. You know that you ain't been training, but you need the payday, so you go ahead and take it. So from a boxer standpoint, that's understandable. With fighters who take fights on short weeks' notice. Yeah, so I've been doing this live for almost 30 minutes. So I usually start my podcast off with the shout outs, but I didn't get into the shout outs, so I'm gonna just go ahead and give my shout outs like I normally do before I close this one out. I want to give a big shout out to OTB Boxing Class 101. When I did episode 5, he was the first one to tune in and leave some comments. So big shout out to OTB Boxing Class 101. Subscribe to his channel, And his co-host for a lot of his shows is Marcus Nall, aka Ohio Runs Boxing. He came on episode 4 with me. So big shout out to Ohio Runs Boxing. Also big shout out to Jerona, aka Lady G. When I did episode 5, she came on and she was commenting consistently. So big ups to Jerona, aka Lady G. Big shout out to you. Also, big shout out to G5 Jeff TV of the Goodfellas podcast. The last episode I did with him, I believe, was episode 120, and that was a good show. So subscribe to his channel, G5 Jeff TV of the Goodfellas podcast, and big shout out to Boxing First Vlog and VP Shane. They was on the show as well, and I had an opportunity, give my perspective on certain topics. So big shout out to all of those guys. Also, big shout out to Wilton Henry. He has his podcast is called Last Ones at the Bar. Subscribe to his channel. He brought me on his podcast last Sunday. We chatted up on a couple of different topics. The upcoming boxing video game. Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Savannah Marshall, Carissa Shields. We touched on a couple of different subjects. So big shout out to Wilton Henry and his partner Daniel Lee of the Last Ones at the Bar podcast. So subscribe to them as well. And big shout out to Chase. If you follow me on Instagram, I got a link in my bio, and I did an exclusive episode. It wasn't an episode that I added to my collection. It was just an exclusive episode. He's one of my boxing buddies. He fell off in the sport a little bit, but he's definitely getting back on track. And, we did an episode for an hour strong, and we're definitely going to do some more episodes in the future. So big shout out to Chase for doing an exclusive boxing episode with me. And last but not least, big shout out to Katrina. When I did episode 6, I didn't really have nobody tune in and leave any comments. So that was one of my shorter episodes. I was just in the mood to go live, and I just went live and just went ahead and did it. And she watched the video and left a comment after the fact. So big ups to Katrina, and big ups to Teddy Brutshot for subscribing to the channel. And I appreciate you guys. And for everybody that watched episode 6, I believe I had like 11 likes. Like I said, I didn't even tell anybody that I was going live. I just went ahead and did it. Same for this episode. I didn't even tell nobody that I was going live. I just had the itch to do it. But I had 11 people like the video. So to whoever y'all are, man, big shout outs to you, and thank y'all for liking the channel. And I'm up to 56 subscribers, I believe. So, I'm not reaching the level I want to reach, but I'm still happy to be doing these podcasts. I've had 4 special guests now, over 7 episodes. And I believe this is my fourth episode going solo. So again, man, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thanks for everybody for leaving the comments. I thank y'all for coming on this journey with me. Again, subscribe to OTB Boxing Class 101. Subscribe to the Goodfellas podcast, and subscribe to the Last Ones at the Bar podcast. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out, man. It's almost 35 minutes strong. So you can follow me. You can follow me on Instagram as The Legend 3347, and you can follow me on Facebook as Ty Finney. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out, man. I didn't have anybody leaving the comments, but I seen that I had a few people tune in, so I appreciate y'all coming on with me. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. You had just witnessed episode 7 of the In This Corner podcast with your boy, The Legend, aka Ty Finney. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.